Welcome back, boys and girls. Today we are doing another lesson of multiplying fractions, but these are going to be a little bit trickier. And when you do the work today, I would really like you to draw these pictures and have them ready for your 3 p.m. Zoom call so that I can kind of see that you're understanding. I'm really hoping that we're watching the videos before we're doing the assignments. Okay? All right, so we remember that multiplying is the same thing as the word of, right? Fractions are part of a whole, and if you take part of that part of a whole, you got even less. For example, if I have a pie and there's half of the pie left, that is my pie. And then it turns out I got to cut it in half. I got to give half of this pie, half of that pie has to go to Jillian. I'm left with 1/4. Half of half is 1/4. Of is the same thing as times, multiplication. One half times one half is 1/4. When you multiply by a number less than one whole, it gets smaller. When two fractions are multiplied together, it gets smaller. The product gets smaller, okay? Now, we're going to try a harder one today. So we're going to use fractions. Oh, what happened? Did I pause it? Earlier today, when I say today, I mean Wednesday. On Wednesday, during the Zoom call at 3 p.m., I worked with a few students, and Ethan said, Mr. Auslander, what if we have like bigger fractions other than like 1/3 and 1/4? And so we looked at 3/4. Right now, we can see 3/4 of this rectangular bar is shaded in. We have 3/4 of this Kit Kat bar. We'll call this a Kit Kat bar. 3/4 of the Kit Kat bar is shaded. If I have to give 1/3 of the 3/4 to somebody else, let's figure out what 1/3 of 3/4 is. Of means multiply, right? So what I'm going to do with my 3/4 is I'm going to break it into thirds because I want to find a third of it. And I'm going to shade in 1/3 of the 3/4. And you can see there are 3 of these pieces that are both blue and red. That's the 1/3 of the 3/4. You'll notice there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces. But isn't this piece right here way bigger than the other pieces? We need to have equal pieces. Fractions need equal pieces. There we go. Now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12. 4, 8, 12 equal pieces. Of those equal pieces, 3 of them are both blue and red. This is the 1/3 of the 3/4. That's 3/12. 3 out of 12. If I had 3/4 of a Kit Kat bar and I had to give 1/3 to Jillian, I would have given Jillian 3/12 of the total Kit Kat bar. 3/12 we know is the same thing as 1/4. Because 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. And we can see that 3 out of 12 is the same thing as 1/4. 1/3 of 3/4 is 3/12 or 1/4. Okay, let's try another one. Here you can see that 5/6 of a Kit Kat bar has been shaded in. 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6, 4, 6, 5, 6. 5/6 has been shaded. Let's say I wanted to find 2/3 of 5/6. I was telling Grant earlier today that if we got 2/3 of a baseball season in, that'd be pretty great. But 2/3 of the season is less than the whole season, right? 2/3 of 5/6 is less than 5/6. I'm taking a fraction of it. I'm taking a part of it. So it's going to be less than 5/6. This is 5/6. If I want to get 2/3 of it, I'm going to get less than 5/6. I'm going to cut my 5/6 into thirds, and I'm going to shade in 2 of those thirds. 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. But I want to find out what 2/3 of 5/6 is. So I'm going to shade in 1/3, 2/3. And then I want to make sure that we have equal pieces. When we're dealing with fractions, we got to have equal pieces. Otherwise, somebody would get this giant piece and be like bragging. Hey, I got the big piece, you got small pieces. We got to have equal pieces. Let's cross the line all the way across. Now we've got equal pieces. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 12, 18 equal pieces in a whole Kit Kat bar. I had 5/6, and I found out 2/3 was this amount. Let's figure out how many are both blue and red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5 and 5 is 10. We've got 10 18ths. 10 18ths is 2/3 of 5/6. In simplest form, we can divide 10 and 18 both by 2, because they're both even. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 18 divided by 2 is 9. In simplest form, 2/3 of 5/6 is 5/9. We found out that 2/3 of 5/6 is 5/9. And I'm sure you're noticing that you can multiply across. 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 6 is 18. But I do want you conceptually to see why 2/3 of 5/6 is 5/9. Let's try another one. Okay, let's resume. And here we have 3/4. Let's say we wanted to find out what 3/4 of 3/4 is. 3/4 of 3/4 is going to be less than 3/4. I'm taking a fraction of 3/4. So what I'm going to do, of course, is I'm going to break my 3/4 into fourths. And I'm going to shade in 3 of those 4. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. This is a giant piece. Let's make them all have equal sized pieces so that we can really be having fair fractions. All together for one whole, there would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12, 16, right? 4 by 4 is 16. And how many are blue and red? How many are 3/4 of the 3/4? 1, 2, 3, 6, 9. 9/16, which you could have multiplied across, of course, but I want you to conceptually understand why 3/4 of 3/4 is 9/16. 9 out of 16. That's what 3/4 of 3/4 is. I hope this video was helpful for you, so you'll be able to complete the assignment that I give to you to do on Pearson Realize. Okay, guys, do your best. And just for fun, I might throw in a couple of decimal problems in today's assignment. So I want to give you a review of that. It says 1 75 hundredths plus 6, that's 6 wholes, of course, plus 8 tenths. When you add with decimals, we know we need to line up our decimals. Six is 6 ones, 0 and 8 tenths. We've got our decimals lined up. Now we need to make sure we've got a placeholder for the tenths and the hundredths place, and for the hundredths place. We're going to line up our decimals. 5 plus 0 plus 0 is 5. 7 plus 0 plus 8 is 15. Regroup. 1 plus 1 is 2 plus 6 is 8. 8 and 55 hundredths is your sum. Okay, for today's lesson, make sure any work that you draw on paper with drawing your fraction bars, I would use different colors like I did, so that you can get to really see how much out of the whole is the new fraction. Remember, when you're multiplying two fractions, your product gets smaller, part of the whole. Okay, do your best. Have your work ready so that when I see you at 3 o'clock today on your Zoom call, you're ready to go. And thanks for watching the video first. Good job, guys.